Good afternoon. It is June 15th, 2022, and here's what we're looking at for today. Um, Really just a bunch of craziness. You can see in the overnight we were trending up, and it looked like it would be a trend day to take back uh, the downtrend from yesterday. And this uptrend was a little similar to the downtrend yesterday in that it was on both sides of the EMA, but it was a little more stable. It found more support on the from the EMA than yesterday's trend. But anyway, once we got that break, this was a pretty nice downtrend. This correction was a pretty nice uptrend, and then we got into the FOMC announcement right here, and that led to all this craziness. And unfortunately, I don't see a whole lot of entries in here. I like one kind of higher low entry here. That would have been a very nice move, but not a whole lot. So anyway, where's 5 o'clock at? So 5 o'clock comes right about here, very far from the EMA. And we get a first entry, second entry, but it doesn't set up. And you get a double test, triple test. But again, these aren't the lows of the swing. So it looked like this might be a trend. I'm going to delete that now, but it did look like that was a possible trend line. And I think after this triple test right here, and then you get a higher low, you're going into the highs, but you might consider that. But if you're patient, you get this first entry, second entry that doesn't trigger. Or I'm sorry, it triggers. It traps people who came in. And that's another reason why. Look at how that didn't quite come back to the trend channel. And so then they trap a bunch of people taking this failure, and then they create this trap. So you might consider that, but it's a third entry, so it's not really according to the rules. We move into this range, and you get a double test right here. You might take this, even though it's the low. It's not a new low. That's clearly been a trend channel, so we're bouncing off those lows again, and it's a double test. So there's reasons to want to go long there. You're going right into the EMA, but prices have been flip-flopping on both sides of the EMA, so I wouldn't be too concerned. It's also a second entry long, so I like that. And if you don't take that, you get this higher low right here, but you're going into the highs, and it's just a higher low. It's not really, if it was a failure or a second entry long, I would say take that, but it's not. And you're going into these highs. So the uptrend continues. It's looking pretty good. You get a second entry right here. It doesn't set up. And we get this double test. And with that bullish signal bar and room to the highs, and it's also a higher low from this second entry long. I like that. And then you get this higher low. It's also like a failure, but you're going into the highs. So this trend channel just plays out. You can see we haven't been hitting the top of the channel for a while. So it is played out. And that's when it reverses right here. So I'm not looking to go short just yet. If you did pick this top right here as a failure, technically it's a third entry, but if you did pick that, probably would have got out right here anyway. Anyway, we break down into this range, and that's just very congestive. Probably hit a measured move right here. You can see that. So that's probably all that is. Um, this looks like a double bottom, hidden second entry short. Really, I liked first failed second entry long. I like that, but it didn't trigger, and then it's just way too much overlap. So I think you can. I think at this point we have a confirmed downtrend. I think you might take this, and if you don't take that, you get this lower high right here. I like both of those. Especially there's a chance you drew. You might look at the trend channel like this, and in that being the case, this is a good move. And look at that, that works. So you might consider that, but I think really this is the channel you should play. And you get an overshoot, comes back up, and you get a very nice trap right here. They trapped a lot of shorts. You get a first entry, second entry. The setup isn't good. So people who did take that, though, they scalped out. And then the people who came in late and came in here, they got trapped. And then it goes exactly where you think it is going to go. And look, there's a doji here, a doji here, a doji here. So there's reasons to be a little hesitant to take a trade here. Also, the overshoot. And we didn't get a break. And so another thing I saw was you probably wouldn't have seen this congestion until after the fact. But one thing I was looking at was this looks like one leg up. So you should expect prices to at least test that. And here they tested that. They failed to make a new high, but they tested that high. We make a leg down, form this congestion, breakout with trend, that fails, and you get a failure right here. But that doesn't trigger, and you might still be looking to go short, but we had an overshoot, a break, and two legs down to a new low. So it is time for a reversal. This failure, I wouldn't be too crazy about it just because I wouldn't really know what's going on, even though it looks like it's off of a trend channel. But when prices fail to go lower right here, and we get this signal bar, I think you might want to take that. And then you get a higher low right here. But this turns out to be a trend channel. And we get confirmation of that really right here. First entry, this is a matching high. So first entry goes lower, second entry. It's a doji, but it's pretty bullish. And it's confirming that trend channel. And if you don't like that, well, you get a first entry. You can see it ticks lower right here. Failed second entry short. It's a bit of a stretch because this right here only ticks one tick lower. But with it being off the trend channel, I think you got to take that. And I think that was like one of the cleanest setups I saw today. And nothing up here too far from the EMA, and then the floor just falls out. This is all too far from the EMA. So this looked like one move down to me. Maybe it's like that. So to me, this looked like one move down. So when we get a break, first entry, second entry, I really like that setup. But I also liked the look of this failure. I was more comfortable taking this short than I would be taking this long, especially because this is like kind of like a congestion. But I think this is good enough to take. And that brings us into like half an hour before the announcement, and you can see prices just went crazy here. Looked like we were making a move down. Looks like you get a failure here, first entry. So you might consider that, but this is too close. I think this is when it starts to look pretty smooth. This is a pretty smooth trend channel. And that looks like that might be a second entry long right there. So let's see. Yeah, it looks like that's... Yeah, we didn't make a new high, even though this looks like a double top. That's a first entry, second entry. You might consider that. Looks congested to me, though. But it is off this trend channel, so I'm going to mark that. Get this higher low, but not the greatest signal bar. And then they probably just trap a bunch of longs who are coming in late. And you get like a sort of double top right here. And we start this downtrend. And you get a second entry short, but unfortunately, no setup. You could look at this as a failed second entry long. So, but actually, yeah. So I kind of do like that because that is off the trend channel. That would be confirmation of the trend channel, and it's a second entry short. So yeah, I do like that. And then you get a first failed second entry long right here. I marked it aggressive because you're going into these lows, and you just had a doji, but it's off the trend channel. And you can see the closes. We had this bullish, or fairly neutral but bullish bar, close lower, closes lower, closes lower. So you might consider that. First entry. This is a failure, but you probably don't have a trend channel. So this is like a higher low, but it confirms this trend channel. So you might consider that. Very bullish signal bar. Then we come up here. This doesn't make it back to the trend channel, but it looks like a second entry long. If you had a good signal bar there, I would say take that. Then we come up here, and this is actually a new high. So you get a first entry and a failure right here, but I'm not going short at this point. You get some congestion. Breaks out the high side, that fails, you can see. And then we form this range. I'd probably have this range. I drew it like this after the fact, but I'd probably start it like right here. And yeah, you can see that looks like a midline. So really, I bet what this breakout to the high side is probably just a measured move up. You can see that. So that's something to think about. But yeah, we form this range. Nothing, I don't see any entries in here. We come over here, and this kind of looks like a second entry, but it's not. But what it is a double test. So you might consider that. With room back to the EMA, but that's aggressive. And I think that's all I saw. We get this spike and channel up, but it's so far from the EMA. And yeah, so that's how I saw it. That's how I saw it. I'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day.